first. Okay? So this chapter is about the history, okay? How the management thinking is evolved. Okay? So the title of this chapter is The Evolution of Management Thinking. Very simple. Okay? If you just understand the flow of the ideas, that's it. Okay? This is all about chapter 2. Okay? So then in this chapter, because we want to talk about the flow of many ideas regarding management. Okay? So many fields of management will appear. Okay? So I'm going to talk about the specific field, okay? Field by field, one by one, okay? All right, very good. All right, some announcements, okay? Biz Cafe simulations. I already set up the Biz Cafe simulation as I promised in the last week, okay? So probably you got some emails from the company, the Biz Cafe simulation company. Then our schedule is that practice decision 1 is September 22, okay, 22nd. Practice decision 1 is September 22nd, okay. I strongly recommend you start this as soon as possible, because this is a long-term project. You need to familiar with this project. Okay? Then you will have a better performance. Okay? So please, with your team, please start this practice decision as soon as possible. Okay? Probably the company will lead you how to play with that. Okay? So there is I'm not gonna give you a very specific instructions, because this game is a standalone game. Okay? That means actually everyone can play this game by game itself. Okay? So there is no specific session to give you a instruction of this game, but you can navigate, you can use some manuals, then you can be familiar with this game. So practice decision 1 due is September 22nd. Okay? So practice rounds, there are 2 practice rounds. Okay? And practice rounds are just practice rounds. Okay? Also practice rounds is just to make you familiar with the game. After 2 practice rounds, all the data will be reset. Then you restart the game, regular competition round. Okay. All right. Then I want to point out, I want to make sure the schedule. This schedule is exactly same as on that of syllabus. Okay. So we want to have the first exam September 14 Tuesday, and presentation 1 is September 16 Thursday. Okay. So exam 1, I'm not worried about my exam because it's easy, okay? Not so difficult. It's a better say manageable, okay? And probably this exam will be multiple choice questions, okay? Multiple choice questions, about 30 questions, okay? In the 40 minutes. So you will have plenty of time, and you will have multiple choice questions. Usually my students do not suffer from the shortage of time. Okay, so I'm not worried about anything actually this exam. The best way to prepare the exam is read the textbook, okay, twice, slowly, very carefully, because you need to understand, okay, the terminology. Also, you need to understand some mechanisms behind of this terminology, okay? The logics. Okay? All right, this is about the exam. Presentation 1. we are going to talk about in the presentations. Okay? This is team-based work. We are going to talk about technology because in these days in management, technology and international business, international setting, these two are the most important keywords. Okay? So we are going to talk about technology at this time. Okay? Technology this time. So I picked up my 5 keywords in 2021. Okay? Cryptocurrency. Okay? It was not familiar with the, many people was not familiar with this a couple of years ago, but this year, many people is familiar with this. Okay? Many people are familiar with this. So cryptocurrency is involved with a blockchain technology. So you research one of these topics and present it. All right? You teach us what this technology is. How do you think about this technology as an investor? So, cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, semiconductor memory, battery technology. Battery technology is evolving very, very quickly. Okay? So, lithium-ion battery is a current stream, but full cell is, replacing. So, this is a trend, so you should keep this. And biotechnology drug development. Example, mRNA technology, which is our saver. Okay, vaccines, all right? COVID vaccine technology. Right? So your team will pick up just one of these 5 keywords, 5 technology, and your team will present in this video platform, okay, PBB. So in your team meeting, okay, in following, you will have a chance to talk about these 5 keywords and pick up one. Okay? Pick up one. All right. So we have 2 teams. Okay? So probably it will be okay. All right. Any question about our schedule, simulations, presentations? Any question? So can I move? You don't have a question? Can I move? If I can move, please say yes. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Sabana, Joseph, Miriam, Stun, Leah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move. All right. So this is your distribution of your work case in the last time. So average is a 7.83 out of 9. Okay. And standard deviation is pretty good. Okay. That means standard deviation, the distribution of your work case result scores are narrowly distributed. It's good, pretty good. So if the standard deviation is narrow, I see, as a whole group, you are doing good. Okay, so your average is okay, your standard deviation is okay. Then this is the distributions. So many students have 8. Okay? And we have 1 student 9. Then some students are here. Okay. So if you are here, okay, try to move this way, okay, this way, not the other way, this way, okay. All right. So let's try chapter 2 worm keys, okay. Chapter 2 worm keys. We can start with this. Okay, now chapter 2 worm keys is available, and what time? So I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. So due will be 9 44, 54. Okay, so 9, 9, 54. Please go ahead and take the warmer keys. For your test, I'm gonna mute my microphone for a while. When you're done, please let me know. Good. All right, good. Okay, great. Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay, so the flow of ideas. Okay, flow of ideas from very early 1900 to the current time. Okay, so number one, a historical perspective provides a narrow way of thinking, a way of searching for patterns and determining whether they recur across time period. True or false? Either way, you can type, you can say something. It's false. Okay, Mia was trying to type, all right? The medium says false. It was false. Okay, Mia, why? What is the not consistent with your thinking, your idea in this statement? Why false? Mia is typing something. Sorry. Okay. All right. Then medium. Medium is typing too. All right. Exactly. Exactly. Historical perspective. Actually, when you start a new field of study, okay, you you should study the history of the field because if you know what other peoples did in this field, your perspective will be broadened. Okay, so that's why we study the history. Okay, and a way of searching for patterns and determining whether they recur across time periods. Yeah, it makes sense too. Okay, so this statement is true. Number two, the classical perspective on management emerged during the 1800s. True or false? Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. Think about that, 1800s, that age. Okay? How do you characterize this age? 1800. 1800. Any idea? Factories. Yes, Peter, good. Factories. Okay? The image of 1800s. Why factories? Because this time, the way of production was changed a lot. Then people produced a lot, okay? And demand was so great. Okay? When they produced something, they sold it. So production, efficiency. This was so great. Okay? Then efficiency. Okay? So what is the efficiency? Output divided by input. All right. So they want to increase output. They want to decrease input. Okay? Then what? Which way? They use. Okay? They study. Okay? One by one, like motions of people, because people produce something. They study the motions of what? Machines. Okay? And they develop, they pursue efficiency. Okay? This is a classical perspective on management. Time study, motion study, and scientific management. Right? This is classical perspective or scientific management during the 1800s. Make sense? Right? So the beginning of management was scientific management, motion studies, and machine studies, like mechanical engineering, industrial engineering. All right, number 3. One of the criticisms of scientific management is it did not acknowledge variance among individuals. Is it true or false? Yes, this is the short, right? The weakness of scientific management. They use stopwatches. They study motions of people. They study the flow of machines. Okay? So they didn't take a lot about the differences among individuals. Okay? Human is human. So that was a problem. Of scientific management. Then people just recognized it. Scientific management is great. It improves a lot, the productivity. Okay? The efficiency, yes, it improved a lot, but there's a problem. So, okay, stop there. Then we can rethink. People, human. Okay? And then some people study about the human people. This is organizational behavior. Okay, scientific behavior and organizational behavior. So you will take some organizational behavior classes. OB, organizational behavior, human resource, HR, and also you will study leaderships. These are all about okay, human study. Okay? Human study. The reaction against to scientific management. All right. Number 4. Fayol's unity of command principle emphasized that each subordinate receives orders from one and only one supervisor. True or false? Yes, this is true. Okay? This is bureaucracy. All right? Bureaucracy. So, scientific management was, studying about time, motions, machines, and Fayol's bureaucracy was studying the organizations to increase efficiency. All right? So scientific management and bureaucracy, okay, improves efficiency a lot. Got it? So far so good? Say yes. All right, good. Unfortunately, many Parker's Follett's approach to leadership stress the importance of engineering techniques rather than people. This is not. Okay? So, leadership. Okay? Leadership stress people, not engineering techniques. So, number 5 is false. Okay? So, you can recognize the difference. Okay? Engineering techniques and people, engineering techniques, scientific management, bureaucracy, and people like OB, HL, something like that. Okay. Number 6, theory Y proposes the organizations can take advantage of the imagination and intellect of all of their employees. Number 6 is true, right? Theory X, theory Y. Theory X, there are big difference but assumptions in these two types of human. Theory X, now we assumes that people do not like work. So they need some controls. They need some push. This is theory X. Theory Y, people can enjoy their work. Okay? Then they can work. Something like this. Imaginations. Okay? Intellect of all of their employees. Okay? This is theory Y. So theory X, theory Y. You understand this difference, then that's it. Okay. Number 7, the scientific management. Oh, number 7, just disregard this. Disregard this. Okay. It is. It has some problem. All right. Number 8. Number 8. Contingency thinking. Contingency thinking is the ability to see both the distinct elements of a system or situation and the complex and changing interaction among those elements. True or false? Probably some of you confuse this. True or false? False, Peter. Peter, why this is false? All right, good. Good point. Systems thinking, okay? So, scientific management, humanistic, okay? Humanistic studies, and then systematic thinking. Systematic thinking is, okay, management is not just one element. Okay? There are many elements in the system. Okay? In the system, these elements are interactive with each other. Then this system is better than just the sum of these elements. This is a systematic thinking. Okay? So, wow, this is great. This is good. Systematic thinking also okay, assumes that external, internal, all right? External system, internal system. So boundary of system, there is external things, external environments, and internal environments. Based on this systematic thinking, people was starting to think about, oh, environments are very important. Before this idea, okay, people was not thinking about environment that seriously, because at that time, again, supply was leading. Okay? If they produced something, they sold it. Okay? But it's changing. It was changing. Okay? They need to think about their customers. They need to think about some politics. They need to think about some other external environments. then these external environments get into the world of business. Okay, outside, inside, something like that. This is a systematic thinking. All right, and contingency is one step ahead. Go ahead. So systematic thinking. Okay, systematic thinking is good. Yeah? Then wait. People say, okay, systematic thinking is good, but system is not universal. Okay? Just one system cannot be applied in any situations. Okay? The system can be situation, circumstance specific. Okay? So many things are depending on something, depending on circumstance, depending on the situations. Okay? This is contingency perspective. Okay? Contingency perspective. So you got it? The flow of ideas. Okay? Flow of ideas. Okay? Number 9, the inherent focus of TQM, total quality management, is on managing the total organization to deliver quality to the customer. Okay? Is it true or false? Yes, it's true. True. Okay? So TQM is very specific technique to increase okay, the efficiency. Okay, so TQM is a sort of next to procedure to the scientific management. Okay, so this is it. Okay? This chapter is very simple. If you just understand the flow of ideas, then this chapter is done. Okay? Very, very simple topic. Any question, comment before we move? Okay, then we're gonna move. All right, so we are gonna see this historical forces, things of production, okay, scientific management, okay, humanity of production, humanistic studies, system thinking, contingency perspective, and contemporary just technology, international business, something like that. Okay, that's it. Simple, huh? Okay, so today probably we won't be very long. Our meeting won't be very long. So where we are just, the history of ideas that make this perspective, this current perspective. Okay. So this case is about your HR. Okay. These days, every dimension of every elements of ideas, okay, but the management is important. But HR is very, very important these days because anyway, human work. Okay. So let's talk about your case briefly. Okay, briefly, just share, okay, your perspective. Okay, then we are gonna talk about your perspectives on the case. Okay, briefly, okay, as a whole group. So, and also you can pick up, okay, what topics you will present. Okay, in your team meeting. So I'm gonna create breakout rooms. Then I give you 10 minutes. And okay, please go ahead, meet with your teammates and just share your answers about the case, okay, with your teammates. We are gonna very, very briefly, okay, summarize it. Okay. Also, please pick up the topics for your presentation. So yeah, among these 5 keywords.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. All right. Oh, before we are talking about the case, okay, what technology, what keyword did you choose? Team one? Team one, did you choose something? Team one, did you pick up the presentation topic? Medium, you are team two. That's Mia is team one. Okay, then you chose it. Let me know, okay? Let me know. How about team two, medium, did you choose it?
We didn't really have a chance either because we spent most of our time discussing our answers for the case.
Okay, all right. Let me a little bit speed up this time, okay? Then you can use the remaining time to choose this topic, okay? So let's talk about the case, all right? More hassle from HR. So you understand the story of this case. So let's go the first one. Connie and her step on the right track to avoid management mishaps by defining a new set of leader rules and core values and imposing it by fiat from the top down. How do you think about that? Anyone, please tell us what you discussed. The first question.
When we talked about it in our discussion, we said she was on the right track, but there definitely was a better way that she could handle it instead of doing like a lecture almost of things that they needed to fix.
Okay, all right. So it is in the right track. Okay. Any other point? Okay. In this case, it is important to understand HR is how much HR is important. Okay. HR can impact your performance a lot. Okay. So if there is a problem with HR, it's a big issue. It becomes it. Okay. All right. Number two, do you think a more participative and open culture can be imposed on managers with value statements and training sessions? Why? The second question, what did you discuss?
So in our group, we discussed that we think especially if people participate more, they feel like they have more say and have more responsibility for how things turn out in their department or if things go wrong, rather than, listening to somebody just drone on about what they should be doing and then not really getting to participate or have a say in any of the rules or systems.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Miriam. Participative and open culture is very important these days, especially. Okay. So we talked about that in the 1800 or early 1900. Supply overpassed demand. So if you produce something and you sold it, but this is days not. Okay. So your production and also your service and your employees are very, very important to respond this changing world. Okay, so participate and open culture is very, very important. Also, there are some elements that can influence this culture. Something like a value statements. Value statements can be shared internally and externally too. Okay, so value statements, something like a guardians. Okay, guardians. Our organization is working like this. Okay? Okay? This is a value statement. So when employees are confused about or it's indecisive, okay? Not deceive in their actions, they can just look at value statements and this is consistent with my the organization's value statements. Then I can do it. But if it's not consistent with value statements, I cannot do it. Something like that. So this is the role of guardians. Okay, the value statements. Okay? All right. Then the last question: why do you think Victoria and Gary are on the defensive? Might the emphasis on core leadership behaviors be handled in a different way? What do you suggest? Okay. This is very open question, and this question can be applied in any organization these days. Number 3, any comments, please? Number 3, any comment? What did you discuss? Peter, any comment? Yes. 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 It's a big problem. Okay, it's a big problem. Top down. Okay, so this is many organizations have this problem too. Okay, so these days many organizations recognize this problem and they just try to change it. Okay, so hierarchical organizations, from hierarchical organizations to horizontal organizations, flat world, flat organizations. Okay, Peter, good point. Good point. Okay. So actually, that is the main point of these questions. Okay. Medium, any other point? Any other comment?
Well, I mean, I think Peter covered it pretty well. You know, they feel like they're being talked down to, and especially because they have to go to this meeting where they're talking about things that they, you know, they've already gone over, they already know. It just feels tedious to them, and they're, you know, less likely to really be open to making changes or enforcing these new things or really paying attention at all.
Yeah, it's a good point too. Okay, it's a good point too. Okay, so it is pretty obvious, right? It's pretty obvious. So many people already knew that. Okay, and then actually they are suspicious. What is the benefit of this meeting? Something like that. Okay, so there are many ways to communicate. Right? There are many ways to communicate. Okay? Something like this conference or some other ways. Okay, So many companies, many organizations try to develop how to better communicate, okay? How to better efficiently, effectively communicate, right? So this is all about HR, human resource, okay? How human resource, how people are important in management, okay? Good discussions. So I want to move and talk about the flow of ideas in the management, including HR. And that's it. Can I move? Please say yes. Okay. And this chart should summarize all of the ideas in this chapter. Okay. So I'm gonna briefly check it out. Classical perspective, we talked about that, right? Scientific management, motion studies, machine studies, mechanical engineering, okay? And industrial engineering, something like that. Okay? Look at this, the years, late 1800s. Okay? Humanistic perspective. People say, wait, classical perspective makes sense, but human are human. So we need to study human too, because individuals are different. Okay? Then there are some studies, like a wholesome lab studies, something like that. Okay? So humans are human. So classical perspective is the model of industrial engineering. Okay? Industrial engineering. Okay? Industrial engineering is the part of the studies in the engineering school. And humanistic perspective, it includes HR, all right, human resource, organizational behavior, and leaderships. Okay? So all of these classes, you will take these classes, okay, in following years. Okay? Dr. Professor Eric Kushner, okay, he's great. Okay, he's gonna cover these three classes. Okay, the following years. Management science. This is linked. Classical perspective and management science perspective. Okay? Management science perspective. This is involved with your operation management class. Okay? Operation management class. So this class is taught by Dr. John. Yeah, John. Taught by John. Don, what's his last name? Oh, it's a problem. Okay. So this is operation management class. You will take this class. Okay. Systems thinking. We talked about that. Some elements composed. A system composed of some elements. These elements are interactive with against each other. Contingency view is it depends on the situation, circumstance. Total quality management is linked with this. Operation management, TQM, right? Efficiency. And the technology-driven workshops, social business, people-driven workplace, these are some contemporary trends in the management. Contemporary trends in the management. So technology becomes more and more important, okay? The development of science. Okay? So we are going to talk about technology, the current trends of technology, okay, in your presentations. Okay? So I gave you 5 keywords. Okay? So we are going to talk about technology and social business, social workplace. These are also included in these 3 classes. Okay? OB, HR, leadership classes. Okay? Some other topics are technology and international setting, globalization. So technology is taught in innovation management. I teach that class. Okay? Also, I teach international business, okay, globalization. Okay? So actually, in the following classes, okay, all of these ideas will be covered. Okay. This is a roadmap of management. You will take the classes. Okay. All right. So far so good. Actually, you're done. So please say yes. If you understand this, we're done chapter 2. Okay, then we don't have many things to do. Classical perspective, we already talked about this. Okay. Scientific management, bureaucracy, and administrative principles. Okay? You just read a textbook, then you can understand this. Okay? And efficiency. Scientific management is all about efficiency. Increase production, decrease cost. Okay. And probably Gantt chart. Probably you already saw this type of chart, like a time and this is Gantt chart actually. This is Gantt chart. Time series and the task you should do. Okay? In an Excel. This is Gantt chart. So I just wanna make sure you understand this terminology, Gantt chart. Okay. So characteristics of scientific management. Okay. I already talked about this. Okay. Several times. The only criticism is there are many contributions, but criticism is people. It doesn't consider about people. And bureaucracy is about the organization. Organizations on impersonal, rational basis. Okay? Not people. Okay? Weberian bureaucracy. Okay? And administrative principle too. So planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, controlling. Okay? Some different dimensions of organizations. Okay? All right, then humanistic perspective. Okay. So people just recognize individuals are different. So how do you improve the humans? Okay. Productivity. This is a humanistic productivity. Human behaviors, needs, and attitudes. They study this. Okay. Importance of people. Hodgson studies are very, very famous. Okay. Different work environment and people have different performance. This is a Hodgson studies. Okay. And Maslow, probably if you know this, okay, it will be used a lot. This theory, Maslow's hierarchical needs. Okay. So there are 4 or 5 hierarchical steps. The first one is just like your eatings and drinkings and something like that. Okay, very primary needs, okay, for survival. And the second step is about the safety. Okay, I want to be safe. Okay. Third is I want to be respected. Okay? I want to be respected. And the highest is I want to accomplish myself. Okay? My life is the most important thing, so I want to accomplish myself. This is the highest thing. Okay? So Maslow's hierarchy theory is very simple. If you fulfill the first step, then you desire second step. Then next step, next step. Okay. So just remember this, Maslow's hierarchy theory. Then you will use theory a lot in your future job. Okay. And theory X, theory Y, we talked about that. Okay. So I'm not going to replicate it. Theory X, people don't like to work. Theory Y, people like to work. Okay. Humanistic perspective, behavioral science. Behavioral science was very, very famous. It was sort of the kind of the Nobel Prize winner. Okay. This approach. Look at this picture. Yeah, this picture. It's like a, not a good, restroom. Okay. Men's restroom. So behavioral science approach is very simple. Behavior of people. So in this toilet, okay, if I just put the sticker on here, a fly sticker here, okay, a fly. Then it happens. Okay? Look at this dirty area. Okay? The 70% of shooting, okay, was reduced. So it became cleaner and cleaner. Okay? Just one sticker, fly sticker here. Okay? Then 70% of productivity increased. This is kind of behavioral science approach. Okay? So science can adjust, can alter people's behavior. This is a behavioral science approach. Okay? This is connections with HR, leadership, and organizational behavior, OB. Quantitative perspective. So this is operation management. Okay? This is connected to scientific management too. Okay? So operation management, Professor John Grout, all right? John Grout. Okay? He will teach operation management class. You will take it. Also, information technology, Professor Thelma Mono-White. She will teach this class. Both are great. Okay? Both are great. All right. Okay, so recent trend, system thinking. We talked about that. Distinct elements, complexities, system, subsystem, synergy. Okay, the whole system is greater than the sum of the elements. Okay, this is core idea of systematic thinking. Okay? And contingency view. Okay, system. Okay, is good, but every situation is unique. So there are many systems. Okay? So each system can be applied in each situation. This is contingency perspective. Okay? Very complex. Very complex. Okay? So it is not easy to generalize it. Okay? Then current trend, technology-driven workplace. Okay? We use big data. So this is a big data age. Okay? A lot of data. Many people cannot define what the big data is, but big data is defined in a very simple way. 3V. Okay? This is not in your textbook, but 3V. Volume, velocity, and variety. So memorize it, because we are going to have many chances to talk about 3V, okay? Volume, velocity, variety, big data, okay? And supply chain management. And people-driven workplace. We already talked about that, both less, flat world, okay? And that's it. This is about chapter 2, and wow, this is already 10:45. Okay, so anytime you discuss the topic you will present, and let me know, all right? Let me know by email, okay? Then we will have no problem. Okay, any question, comment about chapter 2? If you don't, please say no. All right, thank you so much, Peter, Sabana, Mia. Okay. All right, then next time we're going to talk about chapter 4, managing in global environment, globalizations. Okay, briefly. All right. So I will see you on Thursday. Okay. I'm sorry about 1 minute. I stole your 1 minute. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. You're free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Medium. Thank you, Sabana.